Coach, what does it mean just to be back here and have a chance to practice here at McKinney High School again?
Yeah, it's surreal, really. It's you fight so hard to get here, and then you don't know whether you ever can. Truthfully, like ever. And I mean, to be here once is a dream come true. To be here twice and win one of the national championships is, beyond comprehension. And then a third time, wow, right? So unbelievable. Happy to be back here. Same spot we were last year for practice on Thursday, and excited about our opportunity on Saturday.
Obviously, coming back here to McKinney again and being here last year, does it make it a little bit easier knowing you're a little more familiar with the surroundings?
Yeah, it's again, it's strange walking back into the same hotel we were last year. I have some recollections of what it looked like, and then all of a sudden, boom, and it's just like back to, a space that we're really comfortable with, and so that's nice, and knowing what we're doing on this evening and tomorrow morning, and having our little meeting Friday night with the NCAA and the officials and stuff like that. I got a pretty good grasp of what they ask from us, and not a lot of it I like, truthfully, but it's awesome for our young men.
Obviously, to get back to this point, the guys put in a ton of work in the offseason. I think starting from the moment they got back from Texas, maybe talk about those efforts they put in the offseason just to make this possible again.
Absolutely. It's they did it. They did it. They've grinded through. Showed extraordinary grit working through in the offseason. You came to our spring game or spring practices. You're like, these guys. They just don't, take anything for granted. They're working it every day to be the best they can be, and so that's amazing. And then as the season's persisted, Central Washington game, going way back to whenever that was, I guess Labor Day weekend, I'm thinking, man, we're not all that good. We struggled in that game. To be here playing for national championship now it's just amazing.
We talked to Caleb Murphy just now, and he mentioned that winning the Hill Award would mean the world to him. What would be your case for him to be that? I'm assuming he'd be your pick. What would be your case for him to win it?
Oh my gosh! So I'm the worst guy at knowing who wins any awards, but he's just been, in my opinion, the most dominating player in Division II. I understand the way the Heisman works, and I think a quarterback or two or three or four are the final finalists, and so with the Harlan Hill, a lot of times it is the quarterback, and we've had some great quarterbacks, including Mines, who has a good chance to win this thing. But Caleb's been a dominant player, and I couldn't think of another person that deserves it more.
Malik told us he's good to go for the game on come Saturday. What have you seen from him in his resolve to get back out there despite the injuries he's fought through?
Yeah, I didn't think it happened, truthfully. We got a couple players like that. Sidney McLeod's another one that he got hurt in preseason camp, and we're like, he couldn't even get an MRI without re-injuring his injury, and yet now he's fought through how many weeks, right, to be able to play. And him and Malik have been, those things, not only being tough and overcoming injuries and obstacles and things like that, but what a thing it teaches the rest of our team, and so both those guys have fought through really challenging times, and they're here today and getting ready to play in the national championship game on Saturday.
You mentioned that toughness and how that kind of inspires the other guys on your team, and you've had a lot of young guys. We talked a lot about that this year. How do you feel like that has specifically helped the young guys kind of understand what fair state football is about and understand that toughness aspect?
Yeah, first our young guys were looking around like, it was mind-blowing for them a little bit, but now they've kind of raised their game up. A kid like Bryce George, who's a redshirt freshman for us, starting, virtually every game this year on the offensive line, to, Brady Rose playing a key role, to Carson Galker, being a key factor, and there's others, but it's been amazing, and that's how culture's built. You have leaders, you got senior leaders. Looking back, it was Lampman and Zimmer and Vanderlaan, and then all of a sudden you speed forward, and now it's Loyola Depot and Brandon Childress and all these guys, and so it's awesome. It's really how you really develop a consistent program, not for 4 or 5 years, but for 10, 15, 20 years. Do I dare say 20? I don't know if I can go that long, but yeah, it's an unbelievable culture.
Specifically with Gulker, the injury to Malik, how crucial has it been to have him kind of alleviate some of the pressure with quarterback runs?
Yeah, it's been unbelievable. And I'm going to go back to even Evan. I said to Evan the other day, "What's your record as a starter at Ferris State?" And he goes, "I don't know, something and oh." And I said, "Yeah, as a starter, you've never lost a game." We forget about him, but he broke a finger and couldn't play quarterback. But I bet you he's maybe as a starter 12, 13 and 0. And so, Carson, Evan, Malik, it's been incredible, and they support each other so much. It's great to see, and so very pleased by how those guys have kind of operated, helping one another.
I've seen Evan out there at tight end the last few weeks. When did that kind of come about?
Evan's an athlete, and so when he couldn't throw because it was on his throwing hand, but he said I can tape my fingers together and catch, and so he started catching the ball, and he's an athlete. He can play, and so we probably should be playing him more as a tight end, but there's just a lot to learn.